Robertson, and today we're going to go over the answers to yesterday's homework assignment. We're going to be looking at the different properties. So we're going to go over the matching and the other questions here on Home Links 4.7, and we're going to go over the answers to the back of the worksheet, which says U4 Properties Homework Practice. So let's go over these answers now. Everyone should have their Chromebook closed because I will have the problems up here on the screen. And then you can have free time after we're done going over this to do reflex and the other activities that you find so interesting. All right, here we go. The commutative property of addition. So I'm going to look for one with plus signs where they move around. Commute means to move. A plus B equals B plus A. Yep, A and B moved around, so the arrow goes there. The commutative property of multiplication. The same thing, A and B switch spots, but they multiply. Kids, another way you might see it is it's just going to be written like this, AB equals BA, because when two variables are next to each other, they are multiplying. The associative property of addition. We're going to be looking for plus signs where the parentheses move around. Remember, associative property has two S's. We think of them as parentheses that move around. So here we have that's multiplication. We want the one with addition. A, B, C. A, B, C. Did the letters move? No. Did the parentheses move? Yes. That's the associative property for addition. And the associative property for multiplication will be this one up here. ABC, ABC. Parentheses around BC, then they move to AB. Any questions? There will be a matching like this on your test, so make sure you can identify them. Then we have the distributive property of multiplication over addition. So we're going to find the distributive property where they're adding. There's a plus. A times B plus A times C. That is it right there. And the distributive property is also true with subtraction. It's one of the few properties that subtraction is still in the property, and it's still a true statement with subtraction in it. Now let's go to problem number 2. For each equation below, use general equations for properties to determine whether it is true or false. For each true number sentence, list the property or properties that apply. For false number sentences, write none. Okay. 9 minus 4 equals 9 minus 3 times 4 minus 3. That is none. At first, I thought it was going to be the distributive property. If it would have been the distributive property, it should have said 9 times 3 minus 4 times 3, because 3 would visit the 9 and 3 would visit the 4. But that is not a property because they put the subtraction sign in the wrong spot. Let's look at this one. 8 plus 5 times 2. 8 plus 2 times, that is none. That is not a property. Again, it should be 8 times 2 plus 8 times, or 2 times 5, or 5 times 2. This one is true. 8 plus 5 times 2 is the same thing as 2 times 8 plus 5. It's actually the commutative property. And here, this is a term, and this is a term. And the terms switch spots. 2 is here, and 8 plus 5 is there. So that's the commutative property. That was sort of hard. Now let's go to the bottom. Is 2/3 greater than 2/5? Yes, it is. If you want to, on that one, you could draw a picture of thirds and then draw a picture of fifths. 1, 2, 3, Okay, and you know if you have 2/3, that's a lot more than 2/5. 7/10. Well, 4/5 will equal 8/10. 7/10 is less than 8/10. 3/10 is greater than 23/100 because if you line them up, if you put a 0 on the up, 30 is bigger than a 23. 1 1/4 is the same thing as 1.25, so they equal each other. Any questions on the problems? Does everyone have them written down correctly? All right. On the other side of the worksheet, we're going to go over the answers. It says determine whether the two expressions are equivalent and which property. Does 7 times 6 times t equal 7 times 6 times t where the parentheses move around? Yes, it's true, and that is the associative property of multiplication. I think I did some of these for you yesterday. Does 23 plus 15 equal 15 plus 23? True. That's the commutative property of addition. Okay, this one is false because the associative property is not true for subtraction. Does 8 times 1 equal 8? True. That's the identity property. Is it the identity property of addition or multiplication? Of multiplication. Does x times 1 equal 1 times x? True. They moved around. Which property do they move around on? The commutative property. And it's the commutative property of, they're multiplying, multiplication. Is 10 divided by 5 equal to 5 divided by 10? False, because division is not commutative. Now let's go to the next one. Use one or more properties to rewrite each expression as an expression that does not use parentheses. All right. Okay. I'm going to first move the parentheses. So I'm going to have b plus 3 plus 6. Now what's 3 plus 6? 9. So the answer is going to be b plus 9. And I did the commutative property. We'll just put CP for the commutative property. Oh no, that wasn't the commutative property. It's the associative property, AP, because I moved the parentheses. Number 8. I'm going to move the parentheses so it's 7 plus 3 plus t. So that's the associative property, AP. And what do you get for your answer? What's 7 plus 3? 10. So you end up with 10 plus t. Okay, in number 9, I got to do two properties. I'm going to move the 5 and the k around. So I'm going to use the commutative property, CP. Then I'm going to use the associative property and move the parentheses around the 9 and the 5. It's the AP, and you get 45 times k. All right, I know you kids don't have these because we didn't really go over how to do this problem. In this one, I'm going to use the commutative property. It's going to be 1 plus 2 plus h. That's the commutative property. I move the numbers. Now I'm going to move the parenthesis. That's the associative property. And the answer is 3 plus n. Any questions? Now the answers to the word problems, and then we'll have some free time. Here we go. A grocery store sells an imported specialty cheese for $11 and its own store brand of cheese for $5. Write two equivalent expressions for buying one of each cheese and an unknown amount of other groceries. Write two equivalent expressions for buying one of each cheese. So I'm going to just say 11 plus 5 plus my other groceries are going to be in X. Okay? Now, that equals, what's 11 plus 5?
16.
So the answer is 16 plus X. So you need to have this and simplify it. That's called simplifying an equation. Yes? Scoot your desk up a little bit. And Carter, keep your feet to yourself. All right, if you want to sit at the round table, you can. Mr. Kenrick made 3 deposits to his account in this order. He put in $460 to his bank account, and then he added $185, and then he added $240. Show how to use the commutative property to find the sum of the deposits. Okay, so we're going to start with 460 plus 185 plus 240. Now, we're going to switch the position. We're going to use the commutative property because I know 240 plus 460 will equal 700 because they're friendly numbers together. 460 plus 240, 40 plus 60 is 100. That'll equal 700. And then 700 plus 185 equals 885 because that together equals 700. That's what they mean by using the commutative property to combine friendly numbers. Okay. Luzin has 8 fish, 3 cats, and 2 dogs. Write 2 equivalent expressions using the associative property, so I'm going to have parentheses that move around, that can be used to find the total number of pets. Well, you have 8 plus 3 plus 2 equals, okay, I'm going to rewrite it as 8 plus 2 plus 3. Then I'm going to move my parentheses and make it 8 plus 2 plus 3. Now, kids, you do all of this in your brain without having to write it down to make it friendly, and you end up with 13 pets. Yes, I know some of this stuff that we did was sort of confusing, but we're just making sure you understand some things. Number 14, the formula for the volume of a rectangle is length times width times height. We're going to learn about volume later on in the school year, where L is the length, W is the width, and H is the height. Find the volume of a rectangular prism in cubic units if the length is 8, the width is 11, and the height is 10. Okay, use the commutative property. So you have 8 times 11 times 10. So I guess they want us to move things around. So I would do 11 times 8 times 10. Really, this one's so easy you don't need to move anything around. You get 880. I mean, 880 units cubed. I don't really see multiplying by 10s and 11s and 8s. It doesn't matter the order they're in. They're all pretty easy to multiply by. There are the answers to yesterday's worksheet. Are there any questions? All right. Thank you for being such a good group today.